welcome back to Helsingborg, Sweden for the IPF 2009 World Classic Powerlifting Championships. And the action just keeps getting hotter and hotter here. And this afternoon we've got the 66 kilo juniors and sub-juniors. And what do you think, Ryan? Another hot action afternoon?
If it's anything like the session we had, just previously, I don't know if I could take it. We have battles, world records falling, people missing lifts, coming back, hitting them. It's been nonstop.
All right, now Ronnie Kumala from Finland, 130, 18 years of age. So this is sub-junior 66. Opening just below his personal best, but as we know with sub-juniors, extremely unpredictable. And sinks that in nice and deep. And that one goes on the board. Shoma Nomura from Japan, 130. It's a fairly tight field on predictions, so we'll wait and see how things unfold. Shoma Nomura from Japan, 130 kilograms, opening on his personal best.
So I say with bated breath, we're not expecting fireworks in the openers, because ordinarily you're just trying to get your foot in the door and yourself on the board. However, we've seen some dramatics.
Yeah, we certainly have. And, in the sub-juniors, often we see a bit of action and a bit of drama. It's a whole new experience for them. And handles the weight well. I don't know if it was deep enough, though. No, not quite deep enough there.
Yeah, no, that's like almost right on cue. I just said that.
Yeah.
I feel like I jinxed the young man.
Yeah. And that's the unpredictability of sub-juniors. They're young, they're inexperienced. This is where they get that experience. And this is literally the future of powerlifting right here. So, Ariane Hutnick from Canada, 132.5, 16 years of age.
Yeah, you picture this young man, for instance, 16 years old, flies across the world, international competition.
It's a massive, massive thing for them. Got a big personal best of 152.5. A big lifter to watch.
Nicely done. Yeah, and how much of this, Gary? Yeah, because you've coached at the international level for nations. When you have sub-juniors and then this young, is it you make sure the weight is light enough for the opener? A, they get their nerves out. B, they gain confidence by crushing it fast, no major fights, so the confidence builds for a young man.
Yeah, look, the whole thing about sub-juniors at a world championship event like this is experience. You want to, as a coach, you want to make sure it's a positive experience. Of course, as an opportunity comes up to get someone on the podium, you'll go for it as much as you can. But it's really about creating a positive experience for them in the sport and making sure they enjoy it, build their confidence, especially if it's their first international.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, momentum can be positive or negative. Start the show right.
Yeah, I've had a few junior, sub-junior athletes, that, I don't want to compete yet, my numbers aren't there. That first international is not about winning. That first international is about getting some competition experience at that level.
Yeah.
Callum McGovern, 157.5, looks good.
Because in a sport like powerlifting, where the numbers are constantly increasing, if you're waiting for the right time, it'll never be right if you're watching the numbers.
If you're waiting for your numbers to be right to compete and to be competitive, well, it's probably never going to happen, because every year these guys just get stronger and stronger.
Just throw yourself in.
Every World Championship event I come to, there's world records. Gregory Austin from Belgium, 160.
And something else we noticed, it doesn't always matter the nominated numbers, because there's always shakeups, always drama. It
Absolutely.
Never unfolds just like the numbers say.
A little untidy.
I knew you were going to say that. As soon as I saw some knees come in, I was like, Gary's not going to like the knees come in. A, when the knees come in, it's harder to get the hips below the knees to pass.
very much harder, and then you just can't get the power drive. I mean, he handled the weight, but just didn't quite get the depth there.
And we've had 2 missed lifts on depth, not strength. You can always go a little deeper. It's hard to get a lot stronger.
Takahiro Korea from Japan.
We're not at emergency levels just yet, but
Yeah, I mean, as a sub-junior, I think it's even harder. You miss that first lift. I mean, you know, when you're an open, you've competed a few times at this level. You've learnt how to cope with that and how to handle that. But at this level for the juniors and sub-juniors, it's a tough position to be in.
3 white lights, and that moves smooth. If nothing else, the weight is moving smooth. It wasn't no major grind or slowdowns. It's just go a stitch lower.
Raphael Boutin from Canada, 162.5.
This is just 2.5 kilo below his personal best, but 18 years old, competing only 2 years, progress can be so fast.
Yeah, it's so unpredictable. You
Yeah.
know, when you're with the sub-juniors, comp to comp is completely unpredictable.
Week to week, the gains can be quick. Well, that moved very fast.
Nice smooth lift there.
No question about the bar speed depth was.
Deep enough.
And again, I mean, they picked a weight that he could redo a million times, and he's fine. The bar speed was so fast on that. You just go a little deeper.
Yeah, look, the inertia of the road, he's confident in the weight now.
Yeah,
And he's confident enough to drop it a little bit further.
yeah. And sometimes that's what it is too, is confidence that you can go deeper and still handle the weight.
Bogdan Darsania from Russia now, 170. "17 years of age. Pretty tough training schedule to be a sub-junior. You're balancing your training with your studies and sometimes part-time jobs as well.
3 white lights.
Yeah, gets that one on the board.
Yeah, and if you throw in a little social life in there, that's a busy young man.
Makes it very, very hard to focus. They get the job done. Load the bar to 170 for Khaled Benbachet from France. So a personal best of 165 listed. I imagine that was from competition probably a year ago, 6 months. And we make lots of progress in that amount of time at this age. Chest was up.
3 white lights.
Gets that on the board nicely. Nice opening lift. So we've got 3 missed openers so far.
Yep. All on depth, not on strength.
None of them have missed them on strength, which is fantastic. Much better probability of getting a bit deeper than getting a bit stronger.
Yep.
Data safe, 182.5. Let's hope this number is playing it safe. Yeah, look, I know that was a bit of a dad joke.
You know what? If you take it out of the way, that was low-hanging fruit. I was going to use it at some point. That was
Depth
nicely
is
done.
good.
That was nicely done. That's exactly as you want an opener to
I
be.
think that should be a good lift.
You know, sometimes when you see an opener higher than the rest of the pack, you're wondering, is your squat that much heavier than everyone else, or are you just overshooting your opener? Not the case there, but we do have a nice segue.
So, Bartos from Poland, 190. You know, I think I remember watching him lift in Calgary last year, if I remember rightly.
He's hit 192.5. That's just 2.5 kilo away. But as we've been saying, when you're in your teens, progress is quick. That doesn't mean he's 2.5 kilo away from his limit.
put in a bit of work for that one.
There's a bit of work. Depth isn't there.
Yeah, so he picked up a bronze medal last year in Calgary.
So he's got international experience, and the coaches have seen him before. Nobody has.
And he's been improving progressively. He picked up a 5th place in Minsk in 2017, the World Championships there.
It's not very common to have 4 people miss in openers. It's all on depth, though, if nothing else.
So no one's overshot their weight yet.
And also important, nobody's jumped in their second attempt the weight up, which you usually would caution against.
Yeah, it's not usually something I do. Sherman Nomura from Japan, 130.
Definitely not with a sub-junior having to retake it. You just don't gamble.
Having said that, Burton from Canada has put in a 167.5.
Oh, wow. That was work.
That was a little bit of work. You got plenty of depth, maybe a little bit too much.
And that's where when you drop it a little deeper, and here's why I would usually caution against rising the weight on the bar, even if it's just depth. Because when you drop a little deeper, it looks a little different. So if the first one that was a little shallow looked fast, when you drop deeper, it slows, and we just seen that there.
Well, we're not far away from finding out how they all go. Nomura got his on, so that's good. Ronnie Kalmala from Finland now with 140 for his second. Opened at 130. And he smoked his opener. Let's see how he goes with 140. It'll be a personal best.
Deep. Nicely done. I think that's good. I think he just added 40 kilo to his total. Pretty smooth.
So now, Ariane Patnak from Canada, 140. Opened at 132.5. Now looking for 140. He had a good opening lift.
I like the big brace. He gets super tight in the core. Yeah, he handles that well too.
He handles it well. How did he go on depth though? It was pretty close. Gets 2 whites though, so that's good enough. That's all you need. For now, Gregory Austin from Belgium, 160. Missed his opener at 160.
It looked like he was strong enough, just needs to go deeper. When you're told go deeper, sometimes you overcompensate and go very much deeper. That's why you want to wait for your opener that is so light you could sink it.
That's exactly right. A weight that is so light that even if you sink it all the way to the bottom, you can still get out of it.
Because if you tell a young man you're too high, go deeper, sometimes they're not going deeper by just a little. They get a little rattled and they overdo it.
So he's going to have to sink this one in, be confident in his abilities.
That's better.
That looks better.
And that was work, right?
Yeah, there's a bit of work in there.
And that's why it's good that they didn't, they chose an opener that he could sink as deep as he needs to.
Gets it on the board. Callum McGovern, Great Britain, 162.5.
So 2 missed openers and 2 corrections.
Well, let's hope the trend continues.
2 more to go. He struts up there pretty confidently. You got to.
Looks very focused on this one, 162.5.
It is a nice 5 kilo jump, well above anything he's ever hit in competition. So you kind of got to ramp up your intensity.
And you'll hear us talk about the biggest number they've hit in competition. Very different hitting at number in competition than in the gym.
Especially competition at this level.
Depth was good.
Yep.
We could have been a little bit tidier, but it doesn't have to be tidy to get white lights. Raphael Boutin from Canada, 167.5. Now he missed his opener at 162.5. This is a big call.
Yep. They must be confident.
Well,
They must be confident.
it's a big call, but occasionally you've got an athlete where you know it's just going to work.
And you've said before, you've been in the same situations, you know the athlete, and it's rare, but you've made the call, bumped it up regardless, because you're telling yourself, we can't fall behind. We need to pick up kilos. I know you're good for it. I've seen you hit it a bunch of times.
Yeah, I mean, when you know and you've got the confidence, and sometimes putting that extra on can actually put the confidence in them as well.
That's true.
Oh, that's still going to be close. He's got no problem with the weight, but he gets it on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, it moves very fast. I think it might be a confidence thing. They got to tell him, look, that's by all means, that was 2-1 in your favor. You cannot go any more shallow.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Borderline right there. If you got one ref picking up for depth,
yeah.
And if you put it in the same place the next time, the other ref's probably going to take a closer look.
They're paying attention. But like you said, the weight moved fast, so it's not strength.
Takahiro Kariya from Japan, 177.5.
This is a 17.5 kilo jump from his opener. That's big for this weight class.
That's a pretty decent jump for a sub-junior at 66.
Yeah,
And a little bit too big a jump by the look of it.
It's just a...
And yeah, I mean, look, he came into it quite confident, but...
I almost wonder if they miswrote, like his previous best was 167.5.
Yeah, it just looked too heavy, didn't it? Membership from France now, 180. So 180 on the bar, opened at 170. Didn't seem to have any major issues with it. Takes that big breath in.
Depth looks good.
Yeah, depth looks good. He's got an interesting technique there where he rolls his hip through.
Yeah. And it might have been either it's by choice or the weight kind of forced him in that.
I don't remember him doing that on his first lift.
Yeah, I think the extra 10 kilos got him pushed around a little. It'll happen.
Darsania from Russia, 182.5.
And again, this is a 12.5 kilo jump, sizable.
That's a big jump.
But he's hit 180 before, so this isn't around the ballpark of previous weight he's hit.
I'll tell you, some of these junior and sub-junior Russian athletes are super strong for their size. They have monstrous power to weight ratios.
Depth is right on the border, that's what the judges say. It moved
Borderline.
well, though. Moved very well. Yeah. They were split.
Too borderline.
It's close. It won't take a lot more deeper, but the weight moved. Do you move up anyways? He bought himself insurance with that opener. The weight moved very well, and he, in the projected, doesn't want to lose ground.
Yeah, it's a tough call on that one. He's got one on the board, so he's not risking bombing out or anything like that. Weight wasn't an issue for him. He's confident, and the Russian coaches know their lifters quite well.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them put an extra couple of kilos on.
If he can put a couple more kilos, he's a podium threat.
Vatos from Poland now, 190.
Missed this in his opener, only on depth.
Yeah, and for a young man, he's got quite a bit of competition experience at the international level. And he's been improving in places every year. That should go on the board.
Yeah. Now, so that goes on the board, and we agree. but it was more work
It was a lot of work.
for an
man.
opening weight.
And it was certainly a lot more work than his first one was. It didn't get depth, so
So that's where depth actually, can slow you down. And you can see where, if you're thinking about increasing the weight because of a depth call, you can be surprised. Now,
192.5 for Dara Safe. from
no
the
longer
US.
playing it safe, adding 10 kilo.
That was a bit of a dad joke there.
Well, trying to snowball off yours earlier, but not sure it worked. Oh, wow. Okay, maybe he is playing it safe. That was smooth.
He's super strong.
He is strong all day. That was
And
very
he
fast.
got a little bit forward in that, and he still managed to straighten it up.
I'm not even sure where the ceiling for him would be. We might see a 200 kilo. What is the... I think a world record at 209 is a big ask, but a 200 kilo wouldn't surprise me. Well,
Yeah, I think it's quite within reach.
what do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they put a 200 on the board there. He's got room to move.
It'll keep him in pole position as the Polish lifter has 197.5. Now, he hasn't hit it yet. Sometimes you don't chase because you're not sure if the other lifter's going to hit theirs, but it would certainly keep him in the lead.
Shoma Nomura from Japan, 142.5. So, no, they're playing it safe. They put in 197.5.
He'd still take the gold on body weight, so maintains a lead. Tie goes to the lighter man.
Opened at 130. Didn't get depth. Hit the 130 on his second. Now taking a big jump to 142.5.
This was probably his planned third, and he wants to lead with it. Oh, wow.
I'm
Okay.
not sure how he managed to rescue that one.
I 100%, when he paused like that, thought too big of a jump.
Oh, he didn't get depth.
That was close.
Yeah, look, weight-wise, he actually handled that really well. I
Yeah.
thought the 12.5 kilo jump was probably going to be a bit too much, but he handled the weight without any problems. Just
Would've been-
couldn't get deep.
Would have been nice to have a weight in between. It kind of shakes you up a little bit if it's a bigger jump than you're used to. Feels heavy on the back, especially once you get into the hole of the squat.
Ronnie Kumala from Finland. Very focused.
Yeah, that's stoic for sure. Close grip with the hands. Keeps his hands nice and snug to the shoulders. Tight core. Easier to keep your chest up, elbows down.
Yeah, I remember when I could keep my hands in that close.
Very deep.
Drops into that hole fast, doesn't he?
I think he's got it. No question on depth anyways.
Depth is absolutely fine, and he gets it on the board. Boy, he drops fast though.
Yeah. You got to be able to rebound and get a hold of that.
Arian Patnick from Canada now, 147.5.
We got two Canadians in the sub-juniors. 66 kilo. Years old, started powerlifting at 14.
Now, he handles the weight. What about depth?
It's good.
He gets it in there.
Yeah, he handled the weight well. 3 for 3, building some confidence.
Colin McGovern, Great Britain, 165. Yeah, certainly not a bad way to go into the bench press with 3 from 3, is it? You know, your confidence is high, your energy's high. So 165, nice little conservative jump there from the second to the third. I like that in this age group, in this weight class. Putting on some good numbers, chipping away, getting a total, building that confidence, building that experience.
Two and a half kilo more from his second attempt. On his back, it's going to feel pretty close to the same.
Yeah, I mean, the squat 2.5 kilos doesn't feel that different, but it was enough to stop him.
And at the top end, though, I was about to say, eventually, 2.5 more, 2.5 more, 2.5. Well,
Eventually, he's going to get there.
yeah.
Gregory Austin, Belgium now, 170.
Gregory bounced back nicely from missing his opener on depth, made the proper adjustments, hit 160. Going a little deeper, slowed him down a bit.
Yeah, it's good to see that everyone who failed their open has managed to correct.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So everyone's got something on the board.
Now this is a pretty big jump, 10 kilos.
Yeah, it's just a bit too much. I would imagine that jump is sort of somewhere between, where they were planning to finish, maybe a fraction lower where they were planning.
And the tough part, because they never got to see that in between, you can't judge your third based off your second attempt.
Right, it's very hard to do that.
So you're kind of flying blind.
Raphael Boutin from Canada at 175.
So the Canadians held course, even though he missed 162.5. 166.7.5 was probably always the second attempt planned. 175, 7.5 kilo jump there is probably always the plan third. They're holding course, and it's paying off so far. He is one of the medal favorites in the projected. But we got some lifting left to go. You were saying depth is right on the line.
Yeah, he's definitely playing with fire.
That's deeper. Wow. Okay.
That was a lot better.
That might have been his best squat. And you know what? It was his best squat. Yeah. The other ones obviously called for depth in a red.
Yeah,
the Canadian team might have had the same conversation you had, saying they're starting to look at you now. They called you once, and you got a red the other time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, if you go out there and you don't hit depth on your first one, you come out for your second one, they're all looking at a little bit closer.
Yeah.
So you've really got to be convincing.
Sometimes as a coach, you got to step in there and let them know what you're seeing, because everyone else is seeing it as well.
A good coach is an honest coach.
Yeah, true.
And you want to make sure you coach. If you're not hitting depth in training, if your coach isn't telling you, get another coach. That was just too tough. You could see as soon as he hit the hole, that was not coming up.
Yeah, this is Carrier had jumped 17.5 kilo from his opener, which is a massive jump from opener to second, let alone covering 17 kilos from opener to third. Way too much. An interim lift in there, some kind of weight, somewhere half between, and you would have had a better idea where he would end up. Didn't have the opportunity. Attempt selection's key.
Comes down to it. Garcia from Russia, 185. So he missed 182.5. He was certainly strong enough, and we said that they'd probably put a couple of kilos on.
Yeah, I think it's well played.
And just a little bit too much. I think that one there was more of a technique issue than a strength issue. I think he's got that number in him. You could see he was just a little bit tentative on the depth. Wasn't quite sure if he was there or not. And missed out on that bounce.
And that's the thing where, like we were saying earlier, you miss depth once and you can't search for it. You got to be in and out. Yeah. If you're looking for it, the weight feels a lot heavier at the bottom.
You want to get down the bottom, get in and get out.
Yeah, especially at the top end weight. You might be able to get away with that with an opener, not at the thirds.
Membership from France, 185. I love his setup technique there, taking the big breath, the tongue sticks out.
Wow.
He's going to get to the top. I don't know about depth, though.
I
to be
thought
close.
so.
He's got it there, though.
Yeah, that was a hell of an effort. Hard fought.
But it paid off.
Paid off, 3 for 3, and 5 more kilo towards his total.
Bartos from Poland now, 197.5. And this kid is just getting better and better every year. 5th in 2017, I think 3rd in 2018. What can he do here? Can he improve again?
Came up a little shy on depth in his opener, adjusted, hit 190. It was a little bit more work, but going up 7.5 kilo, it's reasonable.
He's young, but he's got international experience more than once.
Mm-hmm. Well,
he's putting in the fight. I think he's going to get there. He
sure
does.
Depth is going to be a question. Let's see.
From here, I thought it looked good, but on the side, it looked very different.
It was borderline. I knew it was going to be borderline. It was a hell of an effort. You're 100% right, and he was strong for it.
197.5 for Barra safe. He'll take the gold medal home for the squats. Bartos will take the silver. Bambata will take the bronze for the squats. He wants to put the 197.5 here just to edge himself that little bit further away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to increase that gap when you're in the lead. Ooh. He's such a strong lad. He got shifted around, and it wasn't enough to make him stop.
Yeah, he still handled it.
When you know somebody's strong when the bar path goes wonky, the whole body shifts, and you're still strong enough to lock that out.
Yeah, it makes it, you really know when they've got some absolute strength in there. So we move straight into the 66 kilo juniors now with Joel Chan from Singapore. 170 on the bar. And I'm seeing all sorts of coaches stick their heads out there. I just saw Jay Ferrant, head coach of Ireland, stick his head out, looking for something. $170 kilos. And Adam Michael Jones there, one of the guys in his corner. You can see him in the background. He's lifted for Australia at the World Championships before. And now lifting and living in Singapore.
Nice acquisition for Singapore.
And he'll be competing early next week or mid next week, I think.
This is a 27.5 kilos below his personal best. That's a lot below. They're not taking any chances with this opener.
Well,
and you never know what he's might be dealing with.
And I think with sub-juniors, safer on that opening lift.
Absolutely right.
And juniors. And gets it to the top. And it is a good lift. So I'll be interested to see what he puts in next and whether he takes a reasonably sized jump. And it's always interesting. I mean, in all classes, juniors, sub-juniors, opens, masters, I mean, we see personal bests on their profiles and we look at their nominations and, personal bests are great, but powerlifting isn't linear.
Yeah, not always. And there's a lot of variables with travel, time zone. Are you dealing with any injuries, etc.? And we don't even know all the background stories. So you got to take what's there on the day. Sometimes you come in with a battle plan, the coaches see you in the warm-up room like,
And here is Sian Murray from Ireland, 190.
Looks good to me. Nice and smooth lift.
Gets it on the board. One red light. So on his next lift, he's probably going to be a little bit more convincing on that one.
You know what they say? If you don't get at least one red, you're going too deep. Or maybe that's just what I say.
Yeah, no, I think that's one of yours. Dmitry Shevanov from Kazakhstan, 200 kilogram opener.
Kazakhstan has some very solid lifters.
You know what? They had an outstanding performance in Tokyo at the World Bench.
Is that right?
Absolutely outstanding. I'm very familiar with the Kazakhstani national anthem. But they were absolutely outstanding.
Look at this setup. He's going to be very upright.
Heads up, chest is up.
Yeah,
His hips pop just a little bit, but he handled it very well. Right at the ship, and he gets it on the board. A great lift, that one.
Hands so close, elbows straight down, which allows him to have his chest and head upright and ready to fight if the fight comes. It's not going to come with his opener, but down the road, you could foresee he'll be able to scrap out his attempts.
Lorenzo Santelices from Ecuador, 210. 210 kilos.
Assumes a nice tight back, hands close to the shoulders once again. Chest is up, elbows down, and assuming the knees will track over the feet. Nicely done squat. Bar path never jockeys around on him. And he gets 3 white lights and he's on the board.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. We've got a 240 coming in from Luke Comer from Canada. The world record in the 66 kilo juniors, 253. And that was set in Calgary last year. And he's opening at 240. And that was Charles Okoko from
And Charles, by the way, is
US.
the Open World Champion.
Yep, so we have a junior world record holder and champion, of course, as an Open World Champion.
It happens more and more common. Back in the day, it wasn't as common, but powerlifting is so popular. The athletic youth are starting to choose powerlifting over other sports.
Yeah, I mean, powerlifting is growing. The coaching techniques, the training techniques are improving.
And the
The
talent pool.
science behind it now, and yeah, of course, the talent pool.
Big breath.
Oh, that was a lot of work for an opener.
That was a lot of work for an opener. He got it.
He
And
gets
thank
on the
goodness
board. I tell you, I wouldn't like to see him go any more than 245 on the second. With that
I
workload.
think 245 might be big. I wouldn't mind even 242.5 and just take it from there. He's got 2 more to go.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go. Joel Chan, Singapore, 185 for his second.
Homer from Canada has hit 250, so they thought probably 5 kilo jumps, maybe 7.5, and ordinarily be there. But look at this is the world's. There's you were right, 245 is going in for him.
245.
This is the world's. There's travel, there's time zone change. There's a lot of variables.
They're one of those things that's really hard to plan for and adjust for as well. You just don't know how it's going to affect you at all.
And does he cut weight? Try cutting weight over a plane.
Yeah, I mean, we travel regularly with these events, and sometimes I get jet lag, and sometimes I don't.
Yep.
Joel Chan, he's cut it fine here. We've had a clock issue. Something's gone wrong. Not sure what they've done here.
What were they telling him to go back for? I didn't catch that.
Well, he got sent back off the platform, so obviously something wasn't right.
Was it his?
No, they restarted the clock for
Okay,
it.
gotcha. All right.
So I'm not sure what the problem was, but they let the clock roll down.
15 kilo jump. It's noteworthy. It's a pretty big jump for a 66 kilo junior.
So looking for 185. We talked about that when he put his 170 and being 20 odd kilos below his personal best. We said be interested to see what sort of jumps he takes.
No, apparently,
He likes the big jumps.
and that's fine. He's been competing 6 years despite being a junior, so if that's the way he likes it.
And Adam Michael Jones there in his corner has a bucket load of experience. And I imagine if he didn't think he could do it, he wouldn't be letting them do it.
Moved well. Depth will be right on the line.
Yeah, it is. It's right on the line.
Not a huge adjustment needs to be made, but a stitch
No,
deeper.
not too much. So 197.5 goes on the bar for Saran Murray from Ireland.
Irish national record holder in the squat.
Yeah, he's got plenty of room in the tank. He's a strong lifter. Yeah,
That's
look at
nicely
that.
done, yeah.
Great technique too. You can see his head lift up there. It's fantastic.
Very strong.
And you see the other spotters just run out there. So once we get up past 200, we have 5 spotters on the platform.
They are moving quickly today.
There's not a lot of turnaround time for these guys.
Yeah, the spotting and loading has been so on point in Helsingborg. Even when we had the big 120 pluses in the Masters, some big weights being shifted. They loaded it quick and they caught a couple missed squats.
So there's only 5 in the flight, so what'll happen is they get the extra minutes rest at the end. So 5 isn't enough to turn around for the required rest time. So I'll add on an extra minute after the last lift. You know, it's hard to tell, but from this angle, depth looked good,
I think so.
and it is.
Good enough. 10 more kilo.
So Dimitri gets the extra 10 there. Kazakhstan got some strong lifters. Great in Tokyo. I believe they're having one of the Asian championships there in December, I think. I think that'll be their first international in Kazakhstan. So everyone will have to come along to Kazakhstan, a beautiful country and great people. Right now, Renzo Santelices from Ecuador. 220 kilograms.
$10-kilo jump. And it's also a personal best for competition. He's got a nice squat form technique.
Oh, he's fighting, and you can see that technique really helped him through there.
Look, if his chest pitched forward, elbow shot back, that wasn't going to happen.
All over. Luke Homer, 245. Now, this will be very interesting. His 240 looked like a lot of work, but my question is, was it a lot of work because of the first lift nerves? Maybe mistimed their warm up a little bit.
You know, and for anyone who's ever had to cut weight while flying, and a lot of these 6-kilo lifters have to cut weight, it's difficult. He might get stronger as the meet goes because he's rehydrating. Yeah. I know I've gained. I'm another weight class up by the time the deadlifts rolls around. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. I think the 245 might move a little bit better than his 240.
Oh,
right, yeah, take it.
That was bad. As soon as I thought he was going to have it until the hand shifted out on him.
Yeah, he was really pulling out that bar, which is a great technique
to
pull out.
He did it right. It's just.
But once his hand shifted, tension was gone, and he lost the move.
I honestly thought he was going to have it right there for a second. It looked like he was about to.
If his hand hadn't slipped off,
I think so.
He would have gone through. As soon as that hand slipped, he lost all that tightness in his back.
Another thing I want to say that I noticed, you could see this, literally see the striations in his legs. He's definitely a big 66-kilo lifter. He definitely cuts.
Yeah.
So 250, he hit it at home while cutting at home. It's a little different cutting that while traveling.
Yeah, but, I mean, you lose a lot of energy. I mean, you could hit that number in the gym 1,000 times over, weighing in at 67.5, 68, maybe 69 kilos. Cut down to the 66s. All of a sudden, you know, you don't have the body mass anymore, and it can make a difference. Joel Chan, Singapore, 185.
And this is that extra
minutes rest. So I'll count that down. And now they'll load the bar. So the guys are quite good the way they do it. They add the extra minutes rest, and then they're not to load the bar until the end of that minute. So realistically, they get about an extra minute and 30 seconds. Well, with these guys loading the bar, maybe an extra minute and 10 seconds.
These guys are so, they're like a Formula One pit crew, how quickly they move. And they've been doing it all day, every day. They don't get tired.
185, I reckon he's got this in the bag on this one. I reckon he just needs to sink it in just a touch more. And they made a very good decision there. They've kept the weight the same. Because he knows he's strong enough to do this weight. Keep it the same. His confidence increases. He's confident that he can drop it a little bit lower and still lift the bar.
Don't need major adjustments. Exact same, a stitch lower. There you go.
That depth looks a lot better and smooth all the way to the top. Technique stays strong.
Yeah.
and he gets it on the board.
It's important, you tell a lifter, if you tell him go a little deeper, I don't want you to retool anything. Exactly the same,
Yeah.
you're fine, a bit deeper.
Saran Murray from Ireland, 205. He's fired up for this one.
This will be a new Irish national record. Some of these lifts, you got to keep in mind, have major significance back home, and history is being made.
Depth is good. He's got the fight.
He is a fighter, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got the fight there.
He
gets
literally,
that one.
he bared his teeth halfway through that one. He is such a fighter for it.
And plenty of handshaking and backslash from the coaches there. I think he nearly lost an arm in that one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Even if you're looking at outside the medals, there's significance to these lifts back home. Some of these are records falling, whether it's national records, Commonwealth records, European records, what have you.
Dmitry Shovanov from Kazakhstan.
10-kilo jumps, so they got confidence. He's been taking 10-kilo jumps since his opener, covering a lot of ground quickly. That's where these projected totals are based off of openers. Sometimes they're not the whole story when lifters take such huge jumps. If you haven't done your research and you're only going off the projected, you won't even see them coming up behind you. Can he shock some lifters with this one? Depp looks good. Stays in the pocket and fights with it. Whoa!
He's a fighter.
Helicopters a little bit for him, but I think he got it.
Yeah, look, I think he's got that on the board. He has.
Judges agreed.
Look, he's 20 years of age. He's got a resume as long as my arm.
The type of core strength you need when the weight shifts and you lose your bar path, but it doesn't pull you out of position enough to lose it. Very strong young man.
Very, very good fight on that one. Lorenzo Santelices from Ecuador, 225. There's some big numbers for 66-kilo lifters in the juniors and sub-juniors.
Now, he's going to want this not only for just in the squat event going 3 for 3, but the bigger picture. This is 5 extra kilo, and he can possibly threaten what medal he's going to have. It's going to be decided on these third attempt 5-kilo grabs. Very proficient in his technique as well.
And just a little too much there.
Even when he lost it, his technique was so good, he didn't lose form. He just couldn't move.
Still didn't fall forward or anything like that.
You know your technique is on point when you hit a sticking point, you stop moving, but you still haven't broken down yet in technical.
So
aspects.
245 for Luke Homer now. Missed it on his second.
And I tell you what, so the hand slipped out. This time the hand sticks in. However,
He's burned
this
up some
time,
energy now.
I was just about to say,
it's
this
a tough
time.
call. I mean, I think he's strong enough to do this, but it looks like he might have decided just to time it out.
And again with this kind of turnaround.
Yeah, I think he's made the decision there. You know what? If I get this, it's 5 kilos, but it's one hell of a battle, and a lot of energy use. What am I going to have left at the end of the day?
If he's looking ahead, he's got a lead.
Everyone's trying to chase him, so you burn up all your energy on this. That would be 2 big fights on a squat. Come out for bench, nothing left in the tank, and there's going to be nothing left for that last deadlift. So I think this is a smart tactical move. And for a young man, it's a mature decision.
And I'm sure like the coaching staff.
I imagine he is itching to get out here and lift, and the coaching staff have managed to get the mature response. Sit this one out.
You could empty the tank for 5 more kilos, and if you get it, you empty for 5. You could empty the tank and not get it and have no more extra
And
kilos.
you empty the tank for 5. Have you emptied it and lost 10 at the end of the deadlifts?
And that's how the math shakes
Well, we're
out.
going to find out how it goes, so don't go away. We're back in 10 minutes for the bench press. Welcome back to Helsingborg, Sweden for the IPF 2019 World Classic Powerlifting Championships. And we have got all sorts of action unfolding in 66 kilo sub-juniors and juniors. And we're just about to get the bench press underway with Aryan Patnaik from Canada for 70 kilos as an opening lift. And let's hope all our opening lifts here are being a little bit conservative and they all go on the board. We've seen a few squats, openers not go on the board. Not for strength though, it was all about depth.
It's you know, I think we haven't had a single session yet today that, a single flight anyways, didn't have a little bit of drama even inside the openers. Usually the openers, drama free, you just get on the board, and then the second and third attempts, now the party started. But sometimes the party starts a little early, doesn't it, Gary?
Yeah, we like to extend the party a little bit and keep it towards the end, but I always like to show up a little bit late for the party.
Same here.
So 70 kilograms. And nice easy opening lift.
Drama free.
Shoma Nomura from Japan, now 80 kilograms. So, what did he hit for his squat? He hit 130 squat. 80 kilo bench is a fairly solid bench.
Yeah, he's hit 82.5, and we can only assume he's blowing past that. Be interesting to see how he handles this.
The unpredictability of sub-juniors.
Yeah, it makes handling probably a whole lot more stressful for the team coaches. A little bit of
Just
going over. Is that rack height too low? I think that's what he's saying.
no, the rack height is actually different on one side to the other.
Is that right? Oh, it is.
So technically what should happen, yep, so they've done the right thing. Take him off the platform, fix the rack heights.
Kudos to him for saying, hey, look, I'm not lifting it off.
Absolutely. You know what? And that's quite a mature thing to do. At such a young age and such a level of experience to actually pick it up, notice it, tell the spotters, walk off the platform, restart the clock. You know, it's a very mature lifter there. I mean, most young kids at that age can probably just lift it.
Yep.
And tell the coach later.
Nice.
Well, it's a tough class to break a record in the bench in this one.
Oh, Eddie Berglund, Sweden's own, yeah.
Eddie Berglund.
Good luck breaking a record when Eddie Berglund was in there.
I remember watching him bench the first time I saw him bench as a sub-junior. And I looked at him bench and I thought, you know what, why am I bothering? Why am I still benching? This kid's under 66, just a kid, and making my bench look average.
Eddie Berglund is in your weight class and just ruins it for everyone else because nobody is ever going to take that bench press record.
Yeah, he's got one heck of a lift on him, hasn't he? He's still going strong too.
Yep, he's in the open this year.
Ronnie Kumala from Finland, 87.5.
Nicely
a little
done.
bit of work though.
And as a little bit of a preview, for the 66 kilo in the open, you have Eddie Berglund, the returning world champion Charles Opoko, and then Glakik from Russia. And him and Charles battled it out in Calgary, two-time world champion Glakik. It is a star-studded 66 kilo class and gonna be a hell of a battle.
Yeah.
You're not gonna wanna miss it.
Callum McGovern, Great Britain, 97.5.
The Brits got one hell of a team.
Yeah, no, they've sent a solid team. I think they've got, I think they have an athlete in every division, at least one in every division.
They're always well represented in every age group, every weight class, and always at the top battling. They got open world champions.
opening lift.
Nicely done. Might be a good time to give a quick shout out to Alico, Uplift, and SPD for sponsoring this event.
Well,
It's
that Alico bench out there, I mean, they've done so much in these new benches, and everything they've done to make this new bench a new rack is based on everything they've been fed back to from coaches, from athletes, from officials, and they've just made it better and better. I mean, one of the great additions now, I think, is the slightly narrower safety racks. So there's a little bit more room between the rack and the weight plate now. And of course, for the spotters and loaders, that lovely lever arm to put the racks in and out now, making their job a lot easier.
top of the line equipment.
And gets that one on the board. And of course, they've increased the friction coefficient on the bench as well, so you don't need all that chalk anymore. You won't slip around on the bench.
And that's a huge deal for a powerlifter when you're trying to set up. Lock your shoulders in together. You don't want your butt moving around on you. If it comes off the bench, a little extra friction goes a long way.
Darsania from Russia, 102.5. And you can, Russian coach just watching on ever so carefully.
Nicely done.
And he gets that one on the board. Got one red light and a yellow card there, so it might have been for lifting his head. Bartos from Poland now, 105. So far, everyone being conservative, which I like to see.
Last time I said that, the next guy
Well, I
failed his
thought I'd
lift.
say it this time for you.
I wasn't going to say it this time, but was there a little double bounce there?
Yeah, he just bounced a little bit as it hit the chest.
It wasn't heaving. Okay.
It certainly wasn't heaving, and it was before the press call. Now, Dara safe from the US, 115.
Dara is, as long as he plays his cards right, he's in the position now. He just has to maintain his lead. Looking ahead at the deadlifts, he's got by far the biggest deadlift opener. It's a lot easier when you got a big deadlift on you to maintain, as long as disaster doesn't strike.
Yeah, so the important thing is for him, be a little bit conservative and make sure those openers go on the board so he secures that total. And that's a start in the right direction. Nice, easy opener.
If Dara plays it safe, he's in a good position to be well ahead by the time deadlifts roll around. Yeah, you caught that. It took you a second there.
I'm going to slide straight past that one. Gregory Austin, Belgium, 115.
Relatively close grip for
Yeah,
a
he's got
long
a
arm
very
gentleman.
narrow grip.
That was work too.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's close grip. I mean, imagine that's going to change over. He's 18 years of age. You know, they're playing on his strengths. He's got strong triceps.
Yeah.
So again, a narrow grip. And, you know, the next few years, you'll see that grip widen as his chest starts to develop a bit more.
He's also very tall for a 66 kilo lifter. A lot of these guys, they're sub-juniors. They're going to outgrow this class. And
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, you've got sub-juniors and juniors. I mean, these guys are 66s now. You know, in a few years' time, you know, they're moving up weight classes. Some of these guys will...
and the biomechanics change, so then all of a sudden you change your setup. They actually started the clock before the bar was called loaded.
Yeah, coaches pick that up and telling
Yeah.
them to restart the clock.
They're telling them to reset right now. They're just going to...
Yeah, and the coach. So The coach has done the right thing there, and it's a tough one for the athlete when you're sub-junior because you don't understand everything that goes on.
And I
the
think
coach doing a good job there, just holding him back.
I think Boitin is also French-Canadian. It is a French-Canadian last name anyway, so language,
Absolutely,
communication can also increase the confusion a little bit. But strong lad. I'm expecting this to move well.
130 kilo bench in the 66 kilo sub-juniors. That is a very strong lad.
As an opener too. Yep.
And self handoff. Nice touch. Just clipped the rack on the way up, but it didn't impede.
Didn't stop him at all, yeah. And that's why
It didn't help him, and it didn't slow him down.
that's why we say pick an opener. No matter what happens, you're gonna hit it, and nothing can stop that kid.
You're inexperienced. You get out on the world stage. Sometimes things just don't work to plan. You're lifting on a different rack than you used to at home.
You have confusion at the start. You hit nothing was gonna stop that from happening. So well chosen opener for him.
Chair from France, 135. It's a big bench press.
It's a
in this
massive
weight
bench
class.
press.
And this age group is 18 years of age.
18, 66 kilo, and we're flirting just underneath 300 pounds already.
So he weighed in at 64.6.
And he's a small 66 kilo lifter. Wow. And it's not even like he's built like some benchers are.
He's got quite long limbs. Oh, we got 2 red lights there.
Yellow.
So I imagine yellow is his butt has probably lifted off the bench.
Couldn't see that at all from this angle. So
Yeah, we can't see that from here. Sometimes, occasionally, we can see the hips lift up, and it's a bit of a telltale, but didn't catch it this time.
Head judge can't see it either, so it makes sense that we're on the same page. And that's why there's 3 judges, 3 different points of view.
Arian Patnaik from Canada now, 77.5. And not to take anything away from 77.5, I mean, that's well above body weight and a very decent bench press. 130 and 135 is just a very big bench press.
Mm-hmm.
So 16 years of age, and he's already lifting well above body weight.
Yeah, he's got a couple of years left even in this class.
Yeah, where's he going to be in 2 years?
Nicely
And
done.
handles that well.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where, at a you're young, even for sub-juniors, you show up at the Worlds, you're gaining experience. By the time it's your last year as a sub-junior, now you're a veteran despite your age. Your numbers have improved, and, you just move up the rankings, just like any sport.
Nice to be watching him in 2 years and just see how far that bench has come. I think it's going to go a long way. And the Mura from Japan now, 90 kilograms.
Nice 10-kilo jump from his opener. They were not taking any chances. And I like the strategy.
10 kilos, that's a decent jump and bench.
Especially for anyone's bench, let alone 66 kilo. But I'd assume this must be how he trains. A little bit of movement there, so the command was a little slower on the press.
He gets it on the board.
We had said earlier, you have to steady the bar before you get the press command. If it takes you longer to steady it, it'll take you longer to get the press command.
You want to get it there as fast as you can. And, that's one thing. I mean, if you're starting out in powerlifting, you're watching this, that's one thing I would always recommend as a coach that you train for.
Mm-hmm.
Steadying that bar. There's certainly, we certainly do lots of bench training with touch and go. We do lots of bench training of making sure we can steady that bar as well.
It's great to train with pauses, but if you do it with the initiative that, I got to steady it. It's not just a certain number of time I'm looking for. Can I steady this bar at a top load with a single?
No wrist wraps?
Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of the wrist wraps. Gives you a little more stability without the wrists moving around on you while you're pressing.
So, interesting technique. So he's got a very big deviation of the wrist, trying to get that range of motion down as much as he can. You know, I think maybe that's probably one reason he goes without wrist straps. He needs to be able to deviate that wrist a long way out, and the wrist straps will restrict that a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how his technique develops over the next few years. Colin McGovern, Great Britain, 102.5, and he's got a little bit of fire in his belly for this one.
5 kilo jump. Handled his opener well. A 5 kilo makes a big difference on the bench press. Wowzers, he is flexible and agile.
Wow, look how far he can get that.
Yeah, that's just not gonna happen for me. But you see the shoulders underneath the bar, and the shoulders are the fulcrum of the lever.
You can see the alignment there.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're going for, as well as mitigating the range of motion. Nicely done.
Gets that one on the board.
It's a game of leverages, as well as just brute strength.
It is all about technique.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's it's your speed, it's your strength, it's your technique. I mean, look at Jen Thompson. She's a great example. Pound for pound, seriously, one of the toughest bench presses on the planet. And it comes down to technique. Takahiro from Japan, 105. A nice little personal best for him. Nice touch, but just a little bit too heavy today.
Stitch too much. It was a 5 kilo jump.
Yeah, and as you said a number of times, 5 kilos on a bench. And, it's a big jump on bench.
The brakes come on quick. And bench press is one of those lifts. You feel the weight getting heavier with squat, deadlift. The bench press, it seems to just come out of nowhere when you've hit the edge with not much warning.
Bartos from Poland now, 107.5.
More conservative 2.5 kilo jump. He's hit this before. He's hit 110 kilo previously in competition.
Handles that quite well. Probably a little bit heavy on the touch to the chest there.
There's a little bit of a wobble.
Darsanir from Russia, 107.5 as well.
Took 102.5 kilo relatively smoothly. 5 kilo jump. This will match his personal best. He's hit this before. And I'm sure at 17 he's made improvements since then. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very nice.
Very well done. And some of the bench technique these fellas have hit.
So Gregory Ostjen from Belgium, 120 kilograms. Boy, these guys have got some big benches on them.
Yeah, I feel like when Eddie Berglund comes through and all the 6 kilo sub juniors, you watch him.
Well,
you watch the guys who came first.
I think what you do is you just take a year off and wait to Eddie Berglund to go to
Well,
the next class.
that's also a good strategy. But when you're watching the guys in the open, when that's your weight class, you usually watch the guys ahead of you. And if you start watching him and you're looking at how he plays the game,
oh, he's got the fight there. Oh, you know what? I think it's good. It's a tough call. It is.
He's definitely got maybe 2.5 kilo.
Yeah, that was a fight, wasn't it?
That's the upper end right there. That might have been it right there.
They're safe, 122.5.
absolutely smoked 115. 7.5 kilo, I think he's got it. He took 115 like as a warm-up. This should be good.
Yeah, he's got a big, big future, this kid.
Yeah, 18 years old. All the juniors should be paying close attention. He's coming to play shortly. And he's bringing a lot of toys.
And if you're in the Opens, you're sort of hoping you're in the Masters by the time these guys come through. Yeah, look at that. Easy money.
Yeah. Yeah, he's running a clinic at this point.
Yeah, very, very good lift on that one. Member chair from France, 135. So he missed this on his opener. Needs to get it on the board now. Now, did he miss this on a technical issue?
Yeah, I was just trying to remember. I do want to, like, if he hits this, he's immediately a podium threat. I mean, he's not far back in the rankings where if he bombed out, the podium was kind of going to look the same. He can completely reconfigure the podium. If he hits this, he's right back in the mix. A very important lift, not just for himself, but all the other 66-kilo lifters.
That looks good. I couldn't see too much movement.
It was his buddy who came up last time.
It was. He got it that time. I was watching the hips on that one. Didn't see much movement, so good to see him on the board there.
Well, for our sake anyways, not for some of the others.
Raphael Boutin from Canada, 137.5.
Yeah, you look at the cluster at the top of this. Obviously a big jump down after safe, but the rest of the podium, it is going to be a battle. And amongst those gentlemen, Raphael Boutin from Canada.
Yep, he's right in there for the mix, isn't he?
This is 7.5 kilo from his opener, and this is 7.5 kilo he could add on to his total. He's going to need it.
And the coach just calling out that he's got 30 seconds.
It's really helpful when a coach will help you out there and do that, so you know not to rush. Take your time, be patient. Self lift off.
The referees, I can see we're looking closely at his feet there.
Nice catch
Yeah,
by the
good work from the
spotters.
spotters. They were looking closely at the feet. They were flat, but when he was setting up, it took him a long time to get his feet flat. So it caught their attention, and they're keeping a very close look. All right. I think mostly that one was because he did have to hold there for a while he waited for that start call, and that's very taxing.
Especially, look, you have an aggressive bench like that, all the levers are in place. Holding that, it can be difficult. Holding that while under duress of having that kind of weight over your chest.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I'll do with some of my athletes is often actually get them to do heavy isometric holds, and usually heavier than their maximum lifts. You know, it's good practice. I mean, you don't know. Sometimes you're going to get held there for a long time. You know, it's also a great muscle builder as well.
Jen Thompson has made those heavy holds pretty famous on her Instagram.
It's a very useful tool.
It's a stutter, but it looks good.
Yeah, I think it's a good lift.
3 for 3.
Not a bad way to finish the bench press session, 3 for 3.
And we're saying, so he's 16, and some of these kids are 18. 2 years when you're a teenager is big. The difference between, you know, you go to any university,
the
a
physical
grade 10.
development in 2 years is huge.
It is massive, but it's great experience.
He is eyeballing that bar.
Yeah, he is. Like the bar head said something.
Did you say that?
Excuse me.
What'd you say?
Say it to my face then.
Kumala from Finland. He's just having a good look at that bar, sending a bit of a message. You want a piece of this?
He wants the whole thing. 92.5. He had missed it on the second. Do you remember? Was that a...
Yeah. I'm trying to remember whether it was a strength issue.
I mean, a little intensity can handle that. And he is full of intensity. Ooh, he might fight through this.
I think he's going
it's
to try.
moving.
That left hand's just not going to. Boy, he gave that a good crack, though.
He did, and I thought for a second it stalled, and then he broke the stall, stalled again, and then he broke the stall. The last one is just a little too much.
Shoma Nomura from Japan, 95 kilograms. So he went for a 10-kilo jump from his first to his second, which is huge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a 5-kilo jump now, that's still a big jump to me.
I thought 90 kilo was difficult. I'm not sure if 5 more kilo is a little bit too much of an ask.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot in bench. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, you think 5 kilos, 2.5 each end, it's just a couple of cookies. But, you know, on a bench, on a deadlift, it's just a couple of Oreo cookies.
Yeah.
On a bench press,
Not so delicious.
it's more like a couple of truck batteries.
I would have preferred 2.5 kilo jump. Let's see if I'm going to eat my words.
And just a little bit too much. Shoma Nomura just didn't quite get it there. So Karia from Japan now, 105.
Back
So
to
missed
back.
this on his second as well.
One more go with 105 kilo.
And you can see Great Britain waiting in the corner. So great organisation and good coaching there. Your lift is ready in the wings as soon as that bar loaded is called. And today it's just too much. So Callum McGovern, 105.
Especially, I'm sure the British coaching staff sees bar's not changing. It's going to be a quick turnaround. Get ready. It's coming quick. And ready he is. So a 2.5 kilo jump from his second. Appropriate. You can't go any less.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably the best choice there. You know, as sub-junior lifters, there's so much more about international competition than just getting the numbers on the board. There's so much experience, development, confidence.
Big setup. Look at that. Excellent shot just to see. I mean,
right up on those shoulders. Look at the line right between the bar to the shoulders is just vertical.
You create your own decline levers. Oh, it's the same. I think you might have it this time.
It looks better. Certainly more convincing. He does. Gets it on.
And that's 2.5 extra kilo sent towards his total. 3 for 3 in the bench.
So Darshan from Russia. Looking for 110.
Another 2.5 kilo jump. It's a scrap. Nope. It was quick off the chest, but the brakes came on about 2 inches off.
All right. Wartos now for a crack at 112.5. Let's see if he can go 3 from 3.
His previous best competitive bench is 110 kilo. Looking to set himself a new personal best. A 5 kilo jump from his second. He took just a 2.5 kilo jump from his opener to his second attempt.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, usually you do the big jump first and then the small jump last.
Yeah. And he is in the mix. Maybe they looked ahead and thought, we need 5 kilo. He's fighting for a podium finish in total. He's right there. Oh, wow. And I think he's got it.
He's fought for it.
Yeah. 3 white lights. And you know what? When you look ahead, he's in a hunt for a podium finish. 5 more kilos is going to help that campaign.
That could make the difference.
If they think we got 5 more on the bench based off of what I saw on the second attempt, load it up. Nice play by the Polish coaching staff.
Gregory Ostian from Belgium, 122.5.
2.5 kilo jump from his second, 2.5 kilo jump over his previous best. Uncharted territory.
And it's just a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's a long way to go. You know, when you have your hands that close, it doesn't help shorten the range of motion. Although, like you had said earlier, if currently he recruits most of his pressing power from his triceps. And
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll see that change over the years to come.
Yeah.
As his chest develops a little bit. He's still got a lot of growing to do. Dara safe, 127.5. He has been on fire today.
And he's absolutely lighting it up. Whoa.
And he had to do some work. I think that's the hardest we've seen him work today.
It is, and it was perfectly placed in terms of attempt selection to get the most out of him, because he definitely was not going 2.5 kilo above that. 2.5 kilo less would have been short change. They got the most out of him in the bench press event. It's scary when your lifter's that strong, and then the coaching staff is putting in attempt selections to get 100% out of him. It's going to be harder and harder to knock him out of the top seed.
All right, well, here comes Wutin from Canada now, 137.5. Missed it on his second. Can he find something in the tank and dig deep and put this one on the board?
Look, it can happen. We've seen it happen before. Sometimes the right song on the iPod, a little bit of a speech from the coaching staff. He's got to get his feet flat, though. There we go.
Yeah, they're keeping a close eye on the last one. That's why they took so long to give him the start command. He's got it this time, nice and quick. Oh, it made the difference. Oh, he's got it to the top.
I don't know if the whole bar went up down.
It's
It
about
locked
the
out
whole
uneven.
bar. He just got unlucky there. You could see the difference in the speed, though. They didn't hold him for a long time that time, and he had the power. But
he adjusted and he almost had it, but yeah, it was untidy.
It was untidy.
It was untidy.
It was a good call from the refs on that one. I mean, it's the bar movement is a tough call one.
It is.
You know, the side refs can't always see the whole bar, so they see that end dip, and they'll often give a red light.
Everyone did their job. The coaching staff there, 137.5, was probably in the tank. You know, he's strong to hit it, but
yeah, look, he's still young and he's got a very long way to go. Vermeer from France, 140 now.
And this is 5 extra kilo that he needs for his total. Nicely done.
Yeah, very, very well done.
So in one press, he locks in a gold medal on the bench, but in the bigger picture as well, 5 more kilo, and it is tight to get on the podium.
I mean, that extra 2.5 kilos on his predicted total, that could be the difference.
You know, looking at it,
that could be the difference from the silver medal to a bronze.
I mean, it absolutely is going to be. I don't want to look too much into it. We'll see how the deadlifts unfold. All I can say is you do not want to miss the deadlift event.
So we move into the juniors now. Ryan Murray from Ireland, 102.5. And remember, there's 5 lifters in this flight, so there's an extra minute at the end.
Going over how he likes his lift off, very important.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those little things. You know, I've even seen athletes come out before the flight starts, have a quick chat to the spotters, introduce themselves.
Yeah.
You know, I just think it's a really good thing to do, to have that communication open with them. Makes their job easier, makes your handoff better.
And on top of that, remind them every time you come out. You're not insulting them. They don't mind. But if you think they're going to recognize you, you know.
I mean, they might recognize your face. They're not going to remember your lift off.
Exactly.
Luke Homer, Canada, 120.
Luke is right in the mix for the projecteds. Certainly on the podium. Is it bronze, silver, or gold? He's going to have to try to pick up some kilos here in the bench press event.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, this is the place to do it. This is not the place to go chasing someone down or trying to make up 10 or 15 kilos. This is the place, you know, to find that extra 2.5 kilos that's going to make the difference in the end.
No, so he didn't get that. We can't see.
So he's got the 2 red lights there, and my guess is butt lift.
It's hard to tell from our angle. The strength was okay, though obviously I would say keep it 120, and they do.
Joel Chan, 120. Whoa, that was a long call. He handles that well, though. Gets it on the board.
3 white lights.
No problem with that one whatsoever. Lorenzo Santelices from Ecuador, 130. And of course, the world record in 66 kilo juniors.
Yeah.
Eddie Berglund's well.
Yeah. Good luck on that one. We are a short 100 kilo away.
He is, Eddie Berglund is a phenomenal bencher.
Yeah. Yeah, Eddie Berglund's 66 kilo bench would make him competitive in the 83 kilo class.
Very competitive.
And by competitive, I mean, yeah, podium or, you choose your medal depending who's there.
Good opening lift there. Very nicely done. Dmitry Shovanov from Kazakhstan, 150. That's a big big bench.
That is a huge bench. 66 kilo, 330 pounds. Opener. That is a huge bench.
66 kilo junior, 150 bench. And it's under his best lift.
And it's, yeah. We'll see if we're starting here. Interesting to see where we're going to end up.
And absolutely smoked that. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see them take a little bit bigger jump than normal on a bench with the speed that moved.
And, like you had said before, it's all about relative. 5 kilo relative to 150 is nowhere near as much, because it's 150 kilo.
Yeah,
10 kilo when it's 150, it's more and more reasonable the more kilos that are on the bar.
Siran Murray from Ireland, 107. Now, we'll just roll down the clock there. And, of course, big shout-out to Alico, who continually raise the bar. And some of the work they do for the sport is absolutely amazing. I mean, they equip so many championships every year. Plus, they have development workshops. They have junior development programs. The work they do for powerlifting is absolutely phenomenal.
Based here in Sweden.
In Sweden, of course. And, of course, on the 10th and the 13th of June, get on the website. You can organise a tour of the Alico factory. That would be absolutely fantastic to see. So Murray from Ireland now, 107.5, and they just rolled down that extra minute's rest for the short flight. It was a very, very quick turnaround for these guys. Yeah, and you know what? That's the other thing they've got to manage too in this quick flight. I mean, they're juniors. It's a short flight, and they've got to manage that recovery time as well. So maybe some smaller jumps rather than some bigger jumps, knowing that they're not getting 8-9 minutes recovery.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to change your game plan to the environment. And that's where the coaching staff, they've been to so many of these world championships. They know. They know what to expect depending on the size of the flight.
Yeah, I mean, recovery is important. I mean, you've got 3 or 4 minutes for ATP to regenerate to about 80%. So, that 6-minute turnaround is not a lot. But he gets that on the board. So Luke Homer now, 120.
This is an important 120 because obviously he missed his opener. If he hits this, he's right back in the mix.
Now, I don't know if you saw it on camera, but the difference in coaching attitude in different athletes. I mean, so you can see Vicky handling him here, and her handling is completely different how she handled the young girl who wouldn't stop smiling.
Yeah, and that's also Jeff Butt on one knee.
Yeah, great professionalism. And a great lift.
I think he's back in it.
Oh, he's got the 2 red lights again.
They might want to have a conversation with the jury.
I think they might. Yeah, I can just see the look on Jeff's face there.
I thought
he was going to come to the jury, but he might put his attempt card in and walk over. We'll see. Yep, here he comes.
I mean, yeah, you should absolutely.
Yeah, he certainly had that look of dismay on his face.
From our angle, we can't see.
Okay, so what the jury is saying that his butt is actually coming off the bench on the way down. So even as he's lowering the bar, his butt is lifting.
And from our vantage point, we can't see. We can't see that. We're kind of the dead-on view.
So Joel Chan, Singapore, 127.5. Going to have to ask the production manager for a longer microphone cord so I could go and watch the butt movement. So if you see me run across the cameras, that's why. Joel Chan, 127.5. Oh, that was a fight.
Yeah.
He got a good press call on that one as well. But he gets it on the board. Now, need to get some fluid into him and recover. So Lorenzo Santelices from Ecuador, 137.5.
If Homer can't get 120 on the board, and he looks strong enough for it, it's a technical thing. If he can keep his butt down, he's immediately not only on the podium, but in the fight for becoming a world champion. If his butt rises, one of these underdogs, all of a sudden, their whole day just turns around, and they're no longer fighting for position, they're fighting for a medal.
You know what? And that's powerlifting, isn't it? Anything can happen on the day.
When you look at the nominations, when you look at the projected, things don't always shake up like that. Seen it 100 times.
Gets it to the top.
Well done.
And just 1 red light, but 2-1 is a good lift.
Yeah, sometimes, these meets, they become exciting, a little too exciting for everyone involved in terms of the coaching staff, the lifters, but it just increases the drama.
Dmitry Shabanov from Kazakhstan, 155. It's a big lift.
It is. And, he's covering a lot of ground in the bench press. If the Canadian hits his 120, him and Homer are neck and neck at 6:15.
See how important bench is. All of a sudden, in the predicted totals, they're neck and neck because he got his bench.
And with Homer being slightly lighter, tie goes to the Canadian, but there's one more bench to go.
And he's still got a bit in the tank.
He does. He definitely
does.
does.
2.5 kilos on the next one.
And that would break
for a safety lift.
And that would break the tie right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it is very important.
I'd definitely be throwing on 2.5 for that safety lift.
I think strategically speaking,
almost 157.5 is almost guaranteed for this kid.
It's
almost. Nothing's guaranteed.
If you get greedy and you throw on 5, now you're tempting fate.
Yeah, and that 2.5 is enough to break the tie.
Yeah, and the projected, of course, all that goes right out the window if Homer doesn't hit 120.
So we're talking about Alico before, and of course Alico started off their life as manufacturers of electrical appliances and small kitchen appliances, and of course the makers of the greatest waffle iron on the planet.
I'd like to get my hands on one of those.
I would like to get my hands on a waffle iron. So Aliko, if you're listening, I'd love a waffle iron.
Yeah, send one six-pack lab that's way as well. Just to add back to our discussion, though, Team Kazakhstan 160.
Wow.
Is it tempting fate? You can be greedy, but
I think it's tempting fate, but we'll see. He has got a great bench on him, though.
Yeah.
So 112.5 now.
Not an easy job when it comes to handling, right? These are tough calls, and you got 60 seconds to make it.
Yeah, and it's tough calls with juniors and sub-juniors too, because you're trying to balance. You're trying to balance what they want with what you know as well, and it's tough.
And you're balancing with what you've seen them do before, but also what you're seeing them do on the day of, because there's a difference.
And look, I've made plenty of errors throughout my coaching career with sub-juniors and juniors, because you're just trying to balance, their enthusiasm, what they want, what they tell you, with what you know. It's a tough gig working with juniors and sub-juniors. Not a tough gig because of the athletes, because they're absolutely fantastic to work with. It's a tough gig just picking numbers.
Yep. It's an underestimated, undervalued part of the game, and one of the most important.
And he will go 3 from 3, 112.5.
Nicely done. And here it is. Here is the dramatic conclusion, which will completely change the outcome of Homer's day. It is 7.5 kilo below his personal best. He has hit this before. He's hit higher than this before in competition. This is well within his means. He's done it. And
it is all about the setup now. He has to anteriorly rotate those hips to force them down on the bench.
Now there is the view of his butt. We got to pay close attention on this angle.
Yeah, they were saying it was coming off the bench on the way down. It's very close there. Oh,
that looks good.
He's staying on.
That looks good.
I think he's got it. Oh.
Better have that conversation this time. I thought that would look good to me.
Yeah, I mean, the head referee's giving him a red light.
So it might be something else.
We were watching his butt. Did his head come off at the same time?
Yeah, we didn't see everything. That's right. That's why there's 3 of them.
And the jury has actually stood up and talking to the referees. It'll be interesting to see what they say.
But
Joel Chan, Singapore, 130. So we've got Joel Chan, 130 kilograms.
They're just having a discussion
and it's
here.
being held back a little bit because they're
deliberating, and you can see that the Canadian coaches, I think they're.
I don't think they're really paying him much attention. I mean, look, it's tough. We only have one angle. We only saw one side, and it wasn't the side that the referee that gave him the red light was seeing.
Yeah, we saw the butt down, and the ref with that same angle as us said it was down. So, yeah, I mean, we can't speak to the other angles we don't see. It is what it is.
So, no one wants to see that happen. It's an absolute shame.
Yeah.
But the referees and the jury have both said no. Oh. Just a little bit too tough for him there at 130. Well, that opens the door for Shevanov now, who has put himself in a pretty commanding position.
It actually opens the door for both lifters. I mean, both Murray and Chan are now going to battle out for bronze.
And
a whole new battle has just opened up.
And Santelises is sitting there, just 10 kilos behind Shevanov.
Yeah, and he's opening 10 kilos heavier on dead, so he could cover that spread. A whole new battle has come. The whole storyline has changed just like that.
Santelises now from Ecuador needs to put this 140 in, so he can actually try and chase down. This one will make a big difference. And it's a little bit too much. I hope that's not the 2.5 kilos that makes a difference at the end.
Well,
So Shevanov now with 160. Yeah, and I think, yeah, the 160, that's a big call.
it's I would have been comfortable with 2.5 kilo. He's bought himself more breathing room. Now that Homer's gone,
Well,
Homer's right
and
on
that's the
his.
thing. I mean, given, I suppose, they made that decision at 160, on the pretense that Homer was going to get his 120, and that extra few kilos will be making the difference in pegging him down
Yeah.
and breaking that gap.
Yeah,
Now he's not there, and they can't change this lift.
it is what it is. You're backed in the corner. Very true. And this is how the whole plot has just been twisted.
Oh, and he's got it, I'll tell you what, good on the coaching staff. They picked that brilliantly.
Yep. Sometimes you
Wow.
rise the occasion. 155 looks like on the surface 2.5 kilo, and then you just bring your intensity level up to match the weight, and it's there for you. We promised drama, and
Look,
it has been drama filled, my friend.
we deliver what we promise. Don't go away, because I'll tell you, there's going to be more drama here when we get back for the deadlift in 10 minutes' time. Welcome back to the IPF 2019 World Classic Powerlifting Championships in Helsingborg, Sweden. And wow, we've had action, we've had drama. It is just out of control again here this afternoon. And we're about to kick off the deadlift party for the 66 kilo sub-juniors, then roll straight into the juniors. And it has been all sorts of ups and downs. And you know, our Canadian on the commentating panel is just all upset at the moment.
You know what? This is sports, this is sports. It happens in every sport. You're not going to agree with every call. And yeah, man, I'm Canadian, and my heart's out there too.
And that is the thing with sport. Some things go your way, some things don't. And we have 3 referees and we have a jury panel, and that's what it's there for.
Yep. Enough said.
And right now, Ronnie Kumala from Finland, 155.
And if nothing else, it reminds you, you know, projected totals, nominations, things shake up in the play. That's what sports are all about. If it was all about the numbers beforehand, people wouldn't even have to show up. You show up on this day and anything can happen.
And that's a good opening lift. Goes on the board. Ariane from Canada, 155.
So I guess we need not even warn that, I mean, I was just about to say, look, everybody's just trying to hit their opener, solidify their total, and not do anything too crazy in terms of the weight on the bar. And we're not expecting too much fireworks. But I'd be lying now. You can expect the unexpected sometimes.
You certainly can.
Pay close attention.
Namura from Japan, 155.
Can't sleepwalk through these openers.
$155. Should be a fairly comfortable opening lift for him.
Yeah, it's below his previous best.
Yeah, that was a nice opening lift. They've played some good numbers for that young man. Cullen McGovern from Great Britain, 185.
Now, his previous best is 187.5.
The unpredictability of sub-juniors.
Ordinarily, I'd be like, hey, young man, progress is quick.
Yeah, look, I mean, and that's the thing. If this was an open lifter, you'd think, wow, that's really close to a personal best lift for an opening dead. But you know what? Sub-juniors could be miles away from what he can do now. And it clearly is.
Nicely done. Yeah, oh yeah, he's going to rip right through his old best.
Yeah, look, and he's got great levers for conventional deadlift too. Raphael Boutin from Canada, 195. So 195 kilos. He's had a bit of a mixed day, this young man. But he's showing his maturity and professionalism.
And that maturity and professionalism might land him right onto a podium finish. No question there.
And great opening lift.
Plenty in the tank.
Gregory Ostian from Belgium now. Looking for 205. Now, I'm not really sure what's happening, but I've seen some movement from the jury.
Yeah, and more plot twists.
We'll keep you up to date. And we could have another plot twist here. And Gaston's getting involved. I think we've had a protest entered. So a protest requires an official protest, paperwork and payment.
I've just been told they've reviewed the stream and the lift is now being credited And Homer is back in the race, just 5 kilo behind.
Oh, opening lift for Ostjen. Just couldn't hold on to it. We talk about attempt selection, and here it is again. So we're going to overturn the lift in the 66 kilo juniors.
This is it's too dramatic and exciting. It's yikes. And just
Well,
like that,
you know
everything
what?
changes.
I take my hat off to the IPF, and I take my hat off to the use of technology
Yeah,
to be able to do that and to get a good result for everyone.
absolutely.
You know, and
You have technology and you're going to use it.
look, and what that does in the juniors now is it brings the battle back, and it's better for the athletes as well. Bartos from Poland, 210. Good
Nice
opening
pull.
lift.
Yeah, very solid. So the Belgian lifter, you think some adjustments and it's there? Was it a grip issue?
Look, I don't know if it was a grip issue or he just got off balance.
Which can happen.
I think he might have just gotten a little bit off balance. So, Ben Boucher from France now, 210. You can see now in the 66 kilos, Homer is 5 kilos off the mark.
Yeah, the battle continues.
And gets that one on the board. Now, in order for them to have changed Homer's lift, I believe the Canadian coaches would have had to lodge an official protest,
Yes.
which requires paperwork and a payment for an official protest, and then they go away and do all those reviews.
And, hats off to Jeff Butt, head coach. He wasn't going to let it go. He went up to bat. He fought for his lifter, and look what happens.
Ooh, that's a tough opening lift.
Yeah, it is. Not a lot of room to grow.
That left-hand knee wasn't locked overly well. He's going to have to make sure he locks that out a bit stronger on the next one, a bit more convincingly. So, Darsinia from Russia now. $220. He's a super strong kid.
Nicely done.
Wow.
And that move, just like you want an opener to, not overly taxing, but in
if
room to grow.
If you blinked, you were going to miss that one.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to manage your excitement, and you only have so much. Now, here comes the American, really pulling ahead at this point. He hits this. However, he's ahead, but it's the deadlift event, and a lot of ground can be covered. With a deadlift as big as his, as long as he stays pulling last, he knows how much he has to load the bar with to solidify the win. It's hard to creep up on somebody who's a big deadlifter because of that, and that was ridiculously easy.
Yeah,
so.
that was certainly not much of a challenge for him.
Look at all the other national coaches who were hoping if he shows finally a chink in his armor and stutters at all on the way up with that, okay, it's possible.
Yeah,
that kind of dashes the hopes and convinces them, fight for silver, fight for bronze, leave the
he
gold.
hasn't shown any chinks in his armor there at all.
Nope. And he's probably going to stay ahead.
So Ariane Patnak from Canada, 162.5. Yeah, a little bit of work, but pulled it quite well.
Yep, and yeah, I mean, you're going to expect your second attempt. You're going to work for him. He's got a little bit of room to grow. Maybe another 5 kilo.
Yeah, I think there's another
7.5.
5 in there. I wouldn't be trying to push too far on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's not gonna change his placings too much.
Yeah, maybe on the last pull. There you go.
So 7.5, and I think that's pretty
La-
reasonable.
I think, like you were saying, if it's not going to change too much and he wants to kind of reach, he's been in the pocket all day playing conservative. Let him have fun the last pull.
Kumala from Finland, love the way he walks out eyeballing that bar.
Yeah. You know, whatever helps get you in that mental state of mind to fight. You know, you got to fight for your reps. It's a 10-kilo jump. It's a sizable jump.
He's having to work for it.
Yeah, the engine was revving right
He
there.
gets it there, though. And handles that very well.
He's slow off the platform too. Very
Yeah,
calculated.
so that took it off me
customer.
a little bit there. My head's spinning just a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm just going to step very slowly.
Taxi, please.
So Nomura from Japan, 170.
15-kilo jump. Now we're starting. So taking, you know, no risks in the opener. Nice low opener. And then you could cover your ground in your second, and then furthermore in your third. Nicely done.
Yeah, very nicely done there.
Yep. And now in the third, he looks like he's got quite a bit of room, even though it's a 15-kilo jump.
Yeah, there's a little bit of room there to throw in a bit extra to maybe try and move up a placing here and there.
Exactly, yeah. Probably see where he's at in the rest of the pack and make the judgment call then.
Cullen McGovern, 195.
Now this is a personal best for Callum. We're already in uncharted territory. He wasn't yelling like that for his opener. He's upping the intensity as the weight gets heavier. He's going to need it.
He's a bit more focused on this one. Yeah, look, he handled that well. You can see at the start of that lift, the bar just sort of shifted out a little. But
Yeah.
He managed to get it back in quickly.
Yeah, it was work. He was expecting work. He brought the intensity for it. And any less than what he gave, it probably wasn't going to be there.
Now, Austin Gregory missed his opener. Just couldn't hold on to it.
He's got 2 more attempts. We've seen people come back.
Yeah, we've seen that all day today. I don't need to see that again. I've had enough drama. Double overhand hook grip. If you've got the long fingers to do it, it can be a great benefit. Not only it's a good grip, it's actually quite a good biomechanical advantage.
Oh, that was nice. That was
That
pretty
was
cool.
so much better that time round.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's got 2 red lights.
Is that,
That is-
shoulders? Or?
I think that's locking the hips and the knees. That's a red card. Raphael Wooten now from Canada, 210.
Yeah, 15-kilo jump. He's looking to cover some ground because he lost it earlier. It'll put him within striking distance, and that's really what the Canadians are trying to do, get him back on track.
And that
There we
one
go.
will get him back on track.
Yep. You got to take chances at a certain point. When you miss lifts earlier, and he was missing lifts and fell behind where they were projecting him, you come into the deadlifts, you have a conversation and say, look, we're going to have to take a couple risks here. Do you want it? Are you ready for it? 15-kilo jump here. We'll see what they put in next.
220 for Bartos. You can just see all these young men, their intensity increasing towards the end here now.
Yeah.
This is where it's needed.
By the time you get to the thirds, you can cut the tension with a knife.
And that one was just a bit too tough.
It's tough because in that situation, it wasn't a technical aspect, and he was pretty intense up to it.
Yeah, look, it's tough because you're running out of steam. You know, your electrolytes are low, your ATP struggling to keep up. You know, you have fried that neural system.
He bought himself insurance with that opener. And that's why you open with something you're going to hit all day, every day.
Takahiro Korea from Japan, 220. Oh, it's tough. He's there. That left knee, though, I don't know about that. They get it on, though.
So that's a 10-kilo jump. 21 and a half is his best, which is a Japanese national record. Maybe just goes 2.5 kilo, breaks his own national record, calls it a day.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be trying to push too far.
No.
Van Boucher from France, 222 and a half. Another young man with good lever arms for deadlift.
12.5 kilo jump. Starting to cover ground quickly, and that's how rankings get shaken up. This will...
Oh, gets it moving.
Look, at Ben Bashir is in a position right now. If Safe misses his next lift, Ben Bashir takes the lead, and that might be what the French team is telling him and telling themselves. Stay close enough.
They are going to stay close.
Yeah, and we've seen crazier things happen.
Stay close, and now if an opportunity arises, I always say, you know, one thing I always talk about with athletes, and I talk about with other coaches as well, follow your plan. Don't get caught up in the games, follow your plan, and then when an opportunity presents itself, that's when you pounce. If you get caught up in the games too early on, you haven't got anything left. Now, good lift there from Darcinier. Now, I could be wrong, because I haven't seen them in a long time, but I'm pretty sure Darcinier there is being handled by Villanova's coach and partner. And if that's the case, he's in very, very good hands.
Now, Dara Safe, he hits this, he regains the lead. He's currently 2.5 kilo behind.
It's an important lift.
It is. Dara isn't out of the woods yet.
And there's the chink in his armor.
Oh my God! And this, as if we need more drama, the whole story gets spun all over.
And everyone was watching that.
You know,
you could see the French coach was watching that out the back, definitely.
I'm glad I had said about the. I just seen the French team put in that. You know, they played a strategic game. Safe looked good all day, and sometimes, you know, you fumble the ball once, and all of a sudden, it's anybody's game.
Look, you just have to always, I mean, that's the thing. I always say, you stick to your plan.
Yeah.
And then at the end, if the opportunity's there, and here comes Kamala from Finland. I love this walkout.
Almost like a WWE wrestler coming down to the ring.
You want a piece of me, mate? Come on.
Yeah.
You want to play this game, do you? All right, let's play. Let's dance.
And dance he will. He's going to need to. This 165 was tough. But I think Ronnie's a little tough himself.
Yeah, and the spotters and loaders are loading so fast that the turnaround's shortened a little bit.
Some of the best spotting and loading we've seen.
He's going to take everything he's got. Oh, he's got heart, hasn't he?
Oh,
Look
he
at that
does.
fight. That was better than his second.
And when that happens, adrenaline is like the ultimate pre-workout. You know, it's why mothers lift cars off their children when it's time.
Yeah, he was pumped for that one.
Miracles can happen. It happens all the time. We've seen it.
So, Hotnick now from Canada, 175.
And this is a big jump. 162.5 was the second attempt. He has been conservative all day. And you had said earlier, he's in the rankings. The rankings aren't really going to be a major shift here. If he gets this, he moves up one more ranking and have some fun. You're not risking much.
Look, and that's it. I mean, it's always worth moving up, having a crack at moving up one more ranking. I mean, I did it with Lynn the other day on her last deadlift. Put a bit extra on to move her up to 6th position. And, yeah, it's always worth it when you're in that position.
And there's also bigger picture team points as well. You move up one more ranking, you collect more points for your team. Everybody contributes, and he's about to contribute right now.
What, I think he's done it.
And there's his contribution. Nicely done, young man.
He gets it on the board.
You got to scrap for your position, and he's willing.
And shaking all the hands of the referees. Great sportsmanship.
Yep.
Give them some chalk. There you go. Have some chalk, mate.
Yeah, I'll take that home.
And Nomura from Japan now, 185.
Well, here we go again. Another 15-kilo jump from second to third. And looking himself to jump up another position.
That'll drop him up 2 places in the overall rankings.
You want to, everybody is looking at the bigger picture. Individually, yeah, you're going on the podium. Bigger picture, you're contributing towards your team.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you'll often see guys come out, they've injured themselves. They'll come out and they'll put on a token lift. They'll pull a 60-kilo deadlift so they can register a total, because it's about the team points.
And I respect that.
Oh, it's a lot of work. He's
a fighter, too.
Oh, wow.
Holy moly.
That was a little messy. I mean, the bar was a little too far out in front.
These guys
Somehow he pulled it back.
letting it all hang out.
Callum McGovern, Great Britain now, 202.5. And these spotters and loaders are so organised. They've just got their pattern worked out, getting that bar cleaned super fast.
Yeah, even though the days go by, they get more tired, they also get more efficient and start working out their patterns and who's doing what.
202.5. Tough lift on this one. It's a big, big personal best.
Yeah. He's going to bring the intensity to another level.
Yeah, that was a bigger shout this time.
It was.
He's going to need it.
PR shout, if nothing else.
Wow, that was
Wowzers.
fast off the floor.
Yikes, that was probably the best lift of the day for him. Nicely done.
Very, very fast off the floor.
Yeah.
So Bartosz now from Poland, and I'll tell you, he is getting the intensity firing up out the back, waiting there. You can see him. He's waiting in the wings. He is super intense for this lift.
This,
He missed this on his second.
tentatively, if nothing else, will push him into third overall. It has medal implications.
You know what? He's going to need every bit of that fire.
Can he do it? Fighting for a podium finish. There's lifters left to go, but this will be his part.
It's moving. He's got it to the top.
Let's see what the judges say.
I think it's good. It is.
Nicely done. Pulls himself onto the podium, if
Wow.
tentatively. Wowzers.
Yep. Now he's just got to sit back. He's done his job. He's done everything he can do. Raphael Boutin from Canada, 220.
Looking to unseat the gentleman who just pulled himself onto the podium
It's
and
it's
say,
a big lift.
excuse me, I'd like to have a bronze medal. 10 kilo is not small. It's well over anything he's ever pulled, but he's having the day of his life. He needs to summon it.
I think
my
there's
gosh.
I think there might have been a bit of up and down and some hitching there. Let's see.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hell of an effort, though.
Yeah, he put in a big pull. It definitely looked like it was a bit of a double pull there. Yeah, and you can see the head coach there, Jeff, just telling him, sorry, mate, you can't argue about that one. You double pulled it, mate. Come on.
It is what it is, yeah.
It was great work, Sunshine, but,
Yeah. And you know
let's
what?
be honest.
You leave it on the platform nonetheless, right?
You've done everything you can do.
Exactly. That's exactly it. You did everything you could.
Takehiro Kariya from Japan, 225. Well, he gave that everything he had. He's okay. Completely normal. Happens all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. You get dizzy
And
at the top.
You
I've
love the
been
look
there.
on his face when he opens his eyes again. Yeah, it's one of those things that happens all the time. You do a big pull like that.
It's
And,
the internal pressure while holding your
yeah,
breath.
and it's different than one I remember in the gym. This is an absolute everything you have. So, Mamba chair now from France, 232 and a half.
And he's looking, because his body weight is less than safe. Even if safe hits his, he'll push it beyond.
Yeah, all he's got to do
Is get this lift. This is for gold. If he can get it, holy!
Oh wow, that guy is strong with a fight.
And everything has changed again. Now safe has to hit this.
So
He needs to
Safe
increase,
has to
actually.
put his up.
And he missed. So this is very tough psychologically. Safe missed 232. You're forcing him, well played by the
Now-
France, by the way, to lift more.
He has to go 235, so they've put the change in.
Man, this is
Now,
an outcome neither one of us would have predicted after the bench press.
well, Austin's put in a 235 for his third. Not really sure why he's done that.
He's making a Hail Mary pass to get onto the podium. But let's take, so Safe, who was in the lead all day, now it's to come from behind with an attempt and a lift. He's never pulled before.
Oh no, and he just dropped it at the top. He got it there,
And this is,
and he'll have to take home the silver instead of the gold.
yep, and it all,
And Bembachair played his cards all the way through, stuck to his plan,
beautiful
waited
strategy.
to the end, and when the opportunity presented itself, he took it.
Beautiful strategy.
So
forcing
here
the
we've
hand.
got the Hail Mary for a podium finish. Tough call though. If he doesn't get this,
Well,
he
now-
doesn't register a total either.
Now it's, yeah. Actually, it's a Hail Mary for, it won't. It'll move him
It'll
into
only-
fifth.
it'll
I'm not
only
sure
move
why
it.
the
It's
Hail
only
Mary.
a Hail Mary for the
at all.
deadlift.
Hail Mary for a deadlift. But not a,
And not going to happen. So
it was a Hail Mary for deadlift gold even, not even just a more modest bronze.
and so disappointingly though, he won't finish with a total now.
Yeah, it's and no team points either. So you risk team points and bombing out, all or nothing for a gold.
We've got a
in
world
deads.
sub-junior record now. 250 kilos.
It's a 20-kilo jump.
And they put a change in. They've dropped it to 237 and a
Okay,
half.
okay, good. That was a placeholder. I was going to say that seemed.
Yeah. Dropped it to 237 and a half. And
So
this
to-
will put him to the gold medal for the deadlift.
This is realistic.
Yeah. And
To
this
go
will-
from silver to gold. Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll move him up to fourth position overall. And you know what, 237 and a half for this young man is
Yeah.
pretty realistic. He's
It's just
super strong.
2.5 kilo PR, totally within his wheel well. Let's see what
Yeah,
happens.
he's super strong. And he is just out of energy. Boy, he didn't quit on that at all, did he?
No, he was refusing, but that's what a fighter does. Is
Wow.
they fight. Fighters fight. Walks away with the silver medal in deads regardless.
Yeah, so he's got the silver medal. He's had an outstanding day. He's super strong, and he's certainly another one to be watching out for. There's some great coaches in his corner. So we move straight into the juniors now. So Joel Chan, 205 from Singapore. And this just got interesting with the turn of events, with Homer's lift being overturned and recorded as a good lift, so he's back in the game.
Homer being in the projected neck and neck with the Ecuadorian, and their deadlifts are opening within 2.5 kilo. This is going to be tight all the way through.
You know, I mean, it puts them both in a tough position. You've got to
It's-
look, yeah, you want to go after the gold, but you need to protect that silver as well.
And you don't want to overreach at the same time. It's very difficult. High drama.
205.
I feel like the tension never ceases with any of these classes. Never get a lull in action. Nicely done.
A bit slow through the lockout, but never really looked in doubt though. And and just so everyone knows watching at home, we don't go out the back in the break and say, look, if you could just drop a couple of lifts, maybe you could do this. We certainly don't plan any of this.
It's it's unscripted, but the way the action is so heated up today, you think it was on a script. We couldn't ask for better action.
Murray from Ireland, 207.5.
Yeah, it's funny. Some people think powerlifting is boring. Say what?
There is nothing boring about this sport.
You must
It
not
is
have tuned
all
in.
action.
And this is sub-juniors and juniors. Wait till you see the open.
Great opening lift there. I think it's one red light from the chief referee there. Not entirely sure what that was for. Bit hard to tell from here. Dmitry Shevanov from Kazakhstan. 240. I mean, that's a massive opening deadlift, and it's not even the biggest on the board.
Yeah.
You know you're in tough company in the 66 juniors when you're open at 240, and it's not even the top not even the top opener.
Now he has the lead. If his dead is smaller than the others, he doesn't need to dead tit for tat with them. Just stay close enough to maintain the lead.
I mean, he made a really smart move earlier. They put a number on to break that sort of deadlock that was there.
In the bench
and
press, yeah.
Now he's in that sort of commanding position. We talk about the bench press being so important to put those extra couple of kilos on, and it's paid off.
Exactly that. Hey, look, I'm not going to be able to pull tit for tat with these fellas. I need to gain my chips in the bench and try to hold serve in the deadlifts. So that's the game plan, sticking to it, working so far.
Luke Homer, 247.5. Now, under normal circumstances, easy lift for him, but he's had a very stressful and emotional last 20 minutes or so.
Luke is back from the dead like Jason Voorhees. Do they like the shoulders back?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough call.
Nope.
No, he's not locking that out.
It's
hard to tell from the front, but
yeah.
I mean, even from the front, we were looking at that thinking, geez, was he leaning back into that? Was his hips through all the way? So the shoulders don't have to actually be all the way back behind, but you do have to demonstrate that those hips are locked through. Lorenzo Stanolisis, 250. So this becomes quite a useful opening lift here.
Mm-hmm. Because the Canadian's going to retake 247.5 and opens the door for Renzo possibly gain a little bit of ground. Wow. No question on that one.
It was quick, and I'm pretty sure he just put the bar on his toe.
Is that right? Are you kidding me?
I'm
we
pretty
need more.
sure he
Oh,
just clipped the toe with the bar there.
We cannot
Got a little bit excited when he put the bar down. It just didn't shift his toe far enough.
We cannot have enough story angles and drama. Apparently, this is openers.
I'm hoping it just caught the edge and pinched a little bit, because if you've ever dropped these sorts of weight plates on your toe, it does a lot of damage.
250 kilo.
Even a 20 kilo one does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So Murray from Ireland will be out in just a moment with 207.5. We've got that extra little bit of rest there. And of course, SPD, another one of our great sponsors. You'll see all the guys wearing SPD equipment here. They're not wearing it because it's cheap. They're not wearing it because it's trendy. They're wearing it because it's pretty much the best you can get your hands on.
Mm-hmm. It is trendy, but it is also
well, it's certainly trendy as well.
But there's a reason. There's a reason for that trend.
And if you've ever worn a pair of SPD knee sleeves compared to some of the other makers out there, there is a big difference. So 212.5 now for Murray from Ireland. And the guys will load this bar.
And they are revving him up back there. Now looking at his best, 215.5. That means he's a national record holder.
And he's getting very, very close to that number here after a long day of lifting.
Mm-hmm. the Fighting Irish. He bares his teeth when he fights. So if we see him bare his teeth in his pole, you know he's fighting.
Now, here he comes.
And here he comes.
Wow, that was a quick opener.
Yep.
And it was a second.
Yep.
That's the sort of lift I would have expected for an opener.
Yep.
He was so fired.
He's got more. The Irish national record is going down today, that's for sure.
Now, Joel Chan from Singapore, 217.5. He is fired up. See Adam Michael Jones looking on very closely there in the background. Double overhand hook. It's a nice position to be in.
Yeah, it keeps
To
you
pull. He's very forward.
keeps you symmetrical. The force is dispersed on your body symmetrically. Wow, there you go.
And it's a lot better on the bicep tendon as well.
Good enough.
Gets it on the board. So Luke Homer now, 247.5. He has had just such a roller coaster ride today.
Yeah, his family watching at home has got to be, steadying themselves, grabbing onto tables.
Well, no matter the outcome, he's done an outstanding job.
Absolutely. Yep.
And it's tough. You're a junior lifter. This is a lot of pressure. This is last year as a junior as well.
Yeah, this is a lot of pressure for an open lifter, a junior. He's handling it amazingly. Just needs to firm up that lockout a little bit more. The strength is there.
Pull those shoulders back.
Do they like it this time?
And he's still getting 2 red lights. I mean, that looked better than the last one.
I think
but
that's
it's
how he
still,
pulls.
He's still just not looking like he's locked out.
I don't know, it kind of looks straight up, straight down. I think that's, well.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously we can't see from the side.
Yeah.
Dmitry Shevanov from Kazakhstan, 247.5. And he is just putting himself in a very commanding position with this lift. Oh, and he just can't hold it. You can just see the grip starting to go there.
I'm glad I didn't say it, but I was about to say, when you said commanding lead, I was going to say after seeing the sub-juniors, I feel like no lead is safe.
Nothing is safe. There can be...
No pun right there, but...
Even safe wasn't safe.
But, yeah, the door is somewhat open. Santelli's has got a hell of a deadlift on him.
260. I mean, if he can pull this...
He's closing the gap, isn't he?
Puts him very, very close. And another one who's just played his own plan. And even on this lift, it's playing his own plan. He still hasn't gotten suckered into the games. And he'll leave that for the last lift. Good lift there.
Yeah.
Very typical of your sumo lift. Takes a while to come off the floor.
So now he has to decide. Does he pull to beat 620, which is Chibanov's current, or does he pull enough to beat...
Well, he's in a great position, though, because he's got the biggest deadlift there.
Pulls last, that's right.
He pulls last, so he can put anything he wants in, really.
Yep.
And just wait and see what happens. And if Shevanov misses his 247 on his third, he can put in whatever he needs to put in to...
He may only need another 2.5 kilo. Judging by that, now depends on, that takes a little bit out of you, but judging on the 260, he has 262 and a half in him.
Yeah, so he's put in the 265.
Actually, he is. Yeah, I guess
and he's a bit
heavier.
heavier, so he's got to pull heavier.
I
than 620.
wouldn't think 5 kilos going to break the bank based off that 260, but that was work.
It was work, and it's tough on the grip as well.
If that pull never happened, 265, the pull did happen. It did tax him a little. How much, we're going to find out.
And Homer's put in a 260 for his third.
Because I take it he's telling himself podium or bust. Well, that is what he's telling himself.
Yeah, it's a tough call, that one.
Homer is lighter than all the other gentlemen. Actually, pardon me. So Homer's telling himself, if I hit this and they miss, okay, that's what they're playing. If I hit and they miss, I'm world champion. If I hit and they hit, I'm on the podium. All right, podium or bust.
It's a big call after missing twice. I mean,
that's a decision you have with the lifter, and they decide with you. All or nothing.
Just saw watching the Irish coaches give Murray a couple of back slaps there, and he turned around and slapped them back. that's the Irish for you.
That's the fighting Irish for you.
And he gets it on the board. Great job.
I've never seen that before in my life.
That's the
Turn
Irish.
around and slaps him back. I love it.
I'll make sure I go out and see Jay later and give him a hard time over that one.
That's beautiful.
That's the Irish. That's the Irish team for you.
He's like, that was one too many, sir. I don't take 3 in a row without giving at least one back.
So 222 and a half for Chan. So this will shift him up into the bronze medal overall temporarily.
Yep. Bronze dead, bronze overall. It's a big pull. It's a big pull. There's a lot at stake. And it's 5 kilo over a second. It's there. 217 and a half was worked, though. But I think Singapore's doing a very good job.
They've been doing a fantastic job, they have.
You'd be crazy not to load 5 more kilo, no matter how much a second attempt looked like.
Certainly worth a try.
Yeah. Can net him a couple different
And they're not
medals.
really risking anything.
No.
And they've got a chance to pull for a medal.
Yeah, for 2, so.
Yeah, and I always think if you've got a chance to pull for a medal and it's within reason,
Yeah, do it.
do it.
Worlds comes around once a year.
Oh, he's got it moving.
Oh,
and just can't get past. He just locked his knees a little too fast.
that was close. That was very close.
He just locked his knees a little bit too quick then, and so then he's left in that awkward position of trying to basically do all upper back. But you know what? He put in an amazing effort trying to pull for that medal there. Absolutely incredible.
It was the proper move by Team Singapore. You put your lifter in a position to net himself a couple medals. If the opportunity arises, you go for it every time.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time that this is the future of powerlifting. If you're an open lifter watching these guys, watch out, because in a couple of years' time, these guys are your competition. In fact, some of them are already your competition.
True.
Dmitry Shevanov from Kazakhstan, 247 and a half.
You want to talk about a pull that means a lot. This is a game changer if he can hit it. He might be just too far out of reach if he hits it. I think he would be.
Yeah, if he hits it, it'd be an absolute miracle pull to go after it. And that's more like it.
Miracles do happen.
That is more like it.
So now what happens?
So let's watch and see.
I think Team Canada should lower that maybe 2.5 kilo. Yeah, because they don't need that much. They need 257 and a half because they're fighting for silver now. Or, or did they settle for bronze?
So, no, this will move him to silver. So this lift will move him to silver.
Yeah, I think is this a little more than he needs to pull for silver, though, or am I miscalculating?
No, I think that's... Oh, and Stantelises has put in a 272 and a half.
Wowzers, this is
So I think Standalise is banking on Homer missing this, and then he's going to go after the gold.
They could have waited for that temp change till after this.
Oh, that looks better.
Yeah, that was a nice ball.
That looks a
Let's
lot
see what they
better.
say. Nice. Wow.
It is
The juice is worth the squeeze.
by the skin of his teeth.
Whoa, gutsy move. That was 13 kilo above his second attempt at a weight that he had missed twice in a row. All or nothing. Jumped the bronze and snagged the silver.
So Stantelisis looks like he's dropped it back to 265 now.
So was he looking to?
He was, well, what he was doing, I think he was banking on Shemanov, banking on Homer missing that, and that would have meant his silver medal was safe and he could go after the gold, but now his silver medal isn't safe, so he's dropped it now.
I'm going to be honest with you.
To the silver.
Look, I'm Canadian. I wouldn't have bet too much on Homer hitting that. The odds were very low. Talk about a come from behind positional shake-up.
It was interesting because his two misses weren't about not being able to pull the bar. It was about technique on those shoulders and locking out. And, it's a hard thing to fix at an international
technical.
occasion, but they managed to do it.
He didn't fix it between number 1 and number 2. He did in number 3.
So this lift here will take him into the silver medal position from the bronze.
We've seen, from Chepanov, the huge comeback, Homer, an even bigger comeback, and then Renzo with potentially swapping bronze for silver, action-packed from start to end.
Yeah, his 260 was good. 265 is a big pull. Oh,
Looks
he's
good.
so strong.
Yeah, he is a strong lad.
From here, that looks good. It is good.
Judges
He
agree.
moves to the silver position. So Shevanov takes the gold. Stantelisis takes the silver. And Homer takes the bronze. Wow.
Can I just say something? How can anybody ever say powerlifting is boring?
It does not get better than this. It has been drama after drama here. Don't go away. We've got the medal ceremony coming up. And, of course, there's more action again this evening at 7:30 local time.
Okay. One each.
Yes.
Sorry, I'll do it one. Okay.
Would you like to do something?
Just the 3 bronzes. Oh, yeah. Yes, yes.
Silver.
Second place, Powerlifting, United States of America,
come.
On third place, Dimitri Shevano, Kazakhstan, 247.5 kilos. Second place, Luke Omer, Canada, 260 kilos. On first place, Nelson Santises, Ecuador, 265 kilos.
You gave the gold last
No,
time?
no, you do it.
You can give it silver. You can give the bronze. I can give it silver. Like this. Okay.
Thank you. On third place, from Canada, Luke Homer, 620 kilos. On second place, Nelson Santises, Ecuador, 622.5 kilos. First place winner is Dimitri Shevano, Kazakhstan, 627.5 kilos. Asian countries poised for the national anthem of Kazakhstan.
So that's never going to finish it.